Hi everyone, it's JoJo, and I'm here tonight to show you how that I'm working on my snippet roll. It's the crazy snippet roll that I did, or that I've been doing. The first thing I want to show you is this one. And I have stitched, just kind of crazy stitched the back side, just so you know it's not perfect. I wasn't going for perfection. This is the front side. I want to move it too fast. I don't want to give anyone a headache. But some of them I stitched. Can you see here? I stitched them this way. And then some I stitched this way. And that's what I've done for the whole 5-foot roll. So I wanted to show you, sorry about that. I just have my little bowl of thread. Let me zoom out just a little bit. I don't want to zoom out too much because I'm going to show you what did I do. But I have my little bowl of thread. Colors don't matter. This is what I have. It's what I'm going to use. You need a needle, a sewing needle. And I like to use my thread. What's it called? It's a threader. Sorry, my needle threader. Because I can't hardly see my eye hole. So to use a needle threader, for those of you that don't know, you can buy these. Mine's broke, and I've just got it rigged back up, so it works. But you could even take 2 tiny pieces of wire and bend them in half, and then you poke those through your eye. I may have to put on my grandma's eyes so I can see. And then you just take a piece of thread. I think I'm going to use a piece of this gold thread. And I'm going to unwind right at like a yard, maybe. And I'm going to cut this. I normally go about a yard, and from your hand to your chin is about a yard when you stretch your arm out long ways. But you put your thread through there like I did, and then you just take and you slowly pull your needle off, and you're going to hold those wires because mine are undone. But that threads your needle for you. And then to put a knot, I just kind of wind it around my finger and I push and pull until I get a knot. Just around my finger, and I push towards the outer edge of my finger, and then I kind of pull it backwards and pull until I get a knot in there. And for this project, I don't care about the knot, and you're going to see it on the underside, and I don't care so much for that either. I could be neater with this, but it doesn't matter. In the end, when this is snipped, it's going to be glued down in a book or on a page or a tag, you know, I mean, so a lot of people like the more the threads are messed up and grunged out, the better they like it. And I absolutely am tickled with this. It reminds me of my grandmother's crazy quilt. There's nothing perfect about it. When she got sick, she couldn't sew perfect, and I know that a lot of older people back in the day couldn't do a really good job just because they didn't have it to do with. So I'm just kind of I'm going with that. Now for a slow stitch, you don't have to be in a hurry. It's no big deal. you're just gonna slow stitch. I'm gonna glue that one back down. So you're gonna do this by hand. It will take time. The other one that I did, I've got it finished. It's a 5-yard roll. And it took me pretty much every evening for the last week. But that's okay. I really enjoyed doing it. So I'm going to hold my piece like this. I'm just going to kind of flip it over to get an idea. I think I will go right here in the, not at the edge. I don't want the edge, because if I want to make this fray, then I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to pull this up till the knot sticks. And then this doesn't have to be perfect. Your stitches don't have to be in uniform. They just, however you want to do them. So you could just push it back down and pull through. Then come back up a little ways away. The first, this edge, it's kind of hard to start your first round, but you'll get there. So you could put your stitches where they're very close together, like this one. Or, I'm not used to doing this on camera. You can put them touching, which those are almost touching. You can take a big stitch, or a big gap in between them. So you can do your stitches one at a time. This is slow stitching, so it's basically up to you on what you want to do and how you want to do it. Sorry about that. So then what I like to do is to go down in the fabric, take a little bite, and go just back and forth with little bites. And then when I pull this up, there's nothing uniform about it. There's nothing perfect. And then when I get here to where I have a new piece, what I like to do whenever I have a piece with an edge like this, I like to come back over by that edge and kind of trap that piece of fabric in there, just so it don't flip and flop. Because these at the edge can, they can flip. But that will hold it down for me, so it's just not all over the place. I've noticed that if I don't do that a little bit, it'll, be all over the place. And then what I do when I get to the end is I just decide how much, you can do it however you want to know how much of a gap you want to leave. And you could do it to where that it's perfect. That's fine. Here's my thread. Can you see it? Here's my thread. So that's a pretty big stitch, which it's fine. Now, if you want to be more perfect, I may come back on and do another one that's a little bit more uniform, and a little bit more where I have the colors that match. And I really would like to do one in all pinks and off-whites. So I think that would be really pretty. But this, like I said, it takes a while. Now, I have a thimble. And if you don't know what a thimble is, because some people may not, especially if you're new to sewing and new to this is a metal thimble. You can put it to your finger, and then when you get to a place where you need to push it through, where you need extra help, you can push it through. I normally lose it off my finger. It's more trouble than it's worth for me, what I do. I think I totally messed up. So that's okay. I'm glad I messed up on camera. So I have a, I went the wrong way. I got my thread tangled or something when I was showing. That's why I don't use the thimble. I have a hard time with it. But normally, unless you're me, you can just go and, there we go. You can just go and pull your thread. I lost my threader. Okay, let me put on my grandma eyes so I can see. I have a set of magnifying glasses that I use for that. But the thimble is a pain in the neck for me. Some people are different, and that's great. But for me, yeah, it's just a pain in the neck. I hate a thimble. I don't know if it's my fingers or if there's a reason. So what I do is when I get to the end and I'm pushing through, if I can't do it, then I push it down on my table so I can pull it through. Or, let me pull them out here. I have a pair of needle nose pliers. I always say it funny and the kids make fun of me. I call them pliers. I can't say it right. Pliers. I have to think about it. But these I use for my jewelry. But whenever I get to a spot, now I glued this with glue stick. So every now and again, I run into a spot that is hard, especially when I do it like this. Just kind of weave it on here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I take my needle nose and I cheat and pull my thread through that way. And then if you pull your thread too tight, you're going to wrinkle your fabric. So you want to make sure that you go back and work them threads to get them loosened up so that it's not all puckered. Now see, I'm going to go down right here because I want to snag that piece of fabric. If I don't, then it's going to get twisted later. Because 5 yards is quite a lot. It is really quite a lot whenever you're doing these. But that saves on my fingers too, whenever I can just pull up. And then I'll just go over here and take another bite and come back down. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. I will do whatever I can to help. Now, sometimes when I get to a spot like this one, where it doesn't want to let me grab that fabric, sometimes I will take a bite this way. Just a small one, just to hold it. And then, oh, can you believe that? I broke my needle. I have no idea. I wasn't even holding it tight. Oh, sorry about that. Things like this happen to me. Oh my gosh. Let me get another needle. I should probably stop it and come back, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. I cannot believe I broke that needle. I think that's the first in my lifetime of sewing that I broke it. I broke sewing needles before for the sewing machine. That's kind of funny. I've never broke a hand stitching needle though. Not like that. I didn't do anything. I'll push it right up here. See? See how easy it wasn't even, there's no glue right there. So I'm going to go kind of back down here just so that way it's, and then you can turn your fabric any way that is easier for you to use. This piece is going to be kind of difficult for me. Not meaning it's hard to do, but it's just going to be difficult. There we go. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to stitch it down if you don't want to. And you just keep going like this till you get it all done. And I have like ADHD. So if I go in the same direction all the time, I get bored with it. So then, oh my goodness, technical difficulties. And this time it's not by my camera. I'm sorry. Get my grandma eyes again. I would, like I said, I would just shut this off and start all over, but this is part of it. This is sometimes the way it goes for people, so don't give up. Just keep going with it, and you will get it there. I took a little bit bigger bite with my thread here. What I was doing is I want to do one more row this way. Like I said, make sure that you pull it to make sure that you don't leave a bunch of puckers, because it doesn't look good with puckers. My other needle was just a little bit longer than this one. Okay, so I'm here and I'm bored with going straight across. So I will take and I will just set up my own imagination and think, okay, I'll go from here, maybe to the middle of the yellow. So that's when I will come back up here, kind of get an idea where I want to go. And I'm going to go backwards because I want to be able to see that stitch. You don't have to, but I want to. So I'm going to come back up through the bottom here. And I'm going to do the stitch again. Then I'm here. I'm going to take a little bit bigger bite because I want to make sure that that piece is down. And it doesn't matter how big a bite you take. What matters is that you like it and that you enjoy it. So I'm going to go back down here just because I want to bite these edges. Just so I can hold them in place, because you see that glue just, it sticks for a little bit, but it's not permanent glue. This is Elmer's washable school glue, and I used my good Yoo-hoo glue, however you say it. I used that glue for the most part, but it doesn't matter. It's a glue stick. The Yoo-hoo comes up too, so it's not permanent. So I'm just going to go a little ways down this to eyeball it to what I think is maybe halfway. It doesn't matter. If I go further, I go further. And I probably did. But then I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to make a little gap here. And I'm going to come back. So I have all of this. In here is a piece of cardboard that I have cut. And and it's about the same size as the roll. If you can see that. So I just put it in the center just so I have something to wrap it around. Doesn't matter. But if I had all of this in one length, it would twist and twist and twist. Even like this, I still have to come back sometimes and untwist it. Knock it over there for a minute. I enjoy slow stitching, you know, when I'm watching TV. And I don't have another project going. That's normally whenever I do projects that are quiet, you know, that I can sit in front of the TV and do. Now you see how this is gapped here. Now, if I just come up under this, it's not going to catch it. Even if I go down here and then come back up, it's still not going to catch that. That piece is just, you'll see when you start. So I'm just going to go down here and start my little fanning again. I call it fanning because it reminds me of the fan folds. And there's nothing, like I said, nothing perfect about my stitches. It doesn't matter. I like the old look to it. I just think that it looks, you know, kind of old, vintage. My fabrics are all vintage. They're just not all one color. It's a crazy snippet. My grandma would love it. So now that I'm coming back, I need to flip my piece back around. And if you look here, you can see that it's starting to get twisted and I lost a piece of fabric off of it. So I just take my time back out to twist it back around to where that I can come up here. And every now and again, you will lose a piece of fabric. So if I go down here and look, I can just about bet that this is where this come off of. So I will just take my glue stick. This piece is coming off. And these were glued on with the Oohoo. So it should have, I feel like maybe held it better, but it's okay because it's no big deal. But I want to put it back on because if I take it to the other room, I will forget where that went. And if you look here, there's places that doesn't have any fabric added, which is okay because later on I'm going to be coming in with laces. And if I add a piece of lace here, that's okay. See, isn't that pretty? I like the look of that already. Gonna look really pretty. Isn't that awesome? And I will try to come back on to show you how that I add different laces. I won't set and sew all of those on camera because I just know that that would bore you to death and it would take a long time, and I'm already almost 25 minutes in. I'm trying my best to be able to do better videos, so I'm looking into trying to find some nice equipment. I'm going to leave my PayPal link below if anybody wants to help with that. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I will be back next to show you how that I apply the laces and the buttons. There may be 1 or 2 more videos with the snippets, depending on how far I can get with my next video on showing you the lace. I don't know if I have to do the lace first and then come back and do buttons and beads and maybe some sequins and some ephemera. We'll just take it and play it by ear if that's all right, and we'll see if it's 1 or 2 more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support and all your kind words, and I will see you next time. Have a great day and be kind to one another. Thank you. Bye-bye.